So the two things are important. One is the moment we start the journey, the change starts happening. But it is not perceived. Why it is not perceived? Due to the veil of the impure mind. That happens. That happens. That is what is the journey looks like. I feel calm, but I don't see that there is a sense of non-attachment. I feel kind of relaxed. I'm getting good sleep. And then my mind objectively relates, oh, I'm getting a good sleep, so let me continue the practice of meditation. But we don't become aware of what the inner transformation is taking place. That is very, very important. I was just thinking an hour ago that I have $1 billion, for example. So will I be looking for a $10 profit? Should I start a business which gives me $1,000 profit? Well, if yes, then I still have a deep attachment. I'm not looking something for a bigger goal. On the other side, that is why I said this, when I know my inner self, which is of the nature of peace, happiness, satisfaction, why should I crave for smaller pleasures? Why should I crave for smaller pleasures? You go to a restaurant, now see what happens. From where this attachment comes, it creates a veil, and then we will continue because it is connected. So I like a particular restaurant. I go to the restaurant. I eat pasta or whatever it is. The waiter is excellent, served very well, and served the food item. I ate it and I experienced an immense pleasure. So I ate that thing for 15 minutes, for example. 15 minutes, why I said? The taste buds are in contact with that food. So that 15 minutes is only a pleasure. No doubt about it. Let us take it. Now I'm so happy. Pleasure continues, and I want to extend that pleasure. What is that extension of pleasure? You'll be surprised. You have to contemplate on it. Waiter comes, I give more tip. That is an extension of pleasure. Pleasure is not there. Pleasure is already gone. The taste buds and the contact is already gone. And now I leave the restaurant, I start walking. Ah, that's really a good restaurant. I'm extending the pleasure. There is no pleasure at all. I'm extending the pleasure. Now I'm driving. I will come back again. And when you return, you always look for that waiter. This is all an extension of the pleasure. But question asks the question why I want to extend the pleasure? Because I know there is no pleasure, which I don't recognize. Which I don't recognize. So, what is that non recognition? It is a veil. It is happening because of the impurities of the mind. And we enter into the gossip so easily. Oh, I had that food. It was an excellent restaurant. You should try this. I'm still extending that in pleasure in thought and in feeling. My goodness, this is the level of the ignorance because I'm happy. I feel telling you, I feel inviting you. So I don't see that there is any problem, but I'm hiding the pain. I'm hiding the veil of, I'm hiding. What I'm hiding? I'm hiding the pleasure. I'm hiding the pain of not extending that pleasure. You see that? That is what happens in our daily life. I also say, but yes, I say it with awareness. Jerry was asking which is the best Indian restaurant. I said, no, let me invite you. So I invited both of them. Oh, it's a very good restaurant. Yeah, it's a very good restaurant. Why it is a good restaurant? Because it gives me a pleasure. But why I keep on talking about it? Because I extend that pleasure. Why I extend that pleasure? Because I want to avoid the pain. And that I don't recognize. That I don't recognize.
It's like people on vacation, right? So busy taking pictures and videos
Yeah.
that they're not there when they're there. And then when they leave, they spend all their time looking at the pictures when they could have looked at the place, right? But yeah, I see it. They're just replacing one experience for the trying to extend the experience on and on. Right?
You're right. I went to Casey last year and she said, oh, let me switch on the pictures that we have taken in Hawaii. They went for Hawaii for about a week. And I said, oh, I want to see it. In a transactional world, we will say, yes, let me see it, let me enjoy. But internally, you are fully aware that happiness is within you. So what happens from the verse number 10 to 17 verse? There is a preparation for meditation to release these veils, to release the veil of ignorance. You see, I just wanted to say, we all know a wonderful proverb, ignorance is bliss. So when I do not know, I am extending the pleasure, I find it is a bliss. I find it is a bliss, but behind it is a pain. Behind it, it is a pain or escaping the pain. Escaping the pain while remaining attached. So what happened in our transformation in this life? By the Eastern wisdom, we start recognizing. That is what you recognize. Oh, there is a change. I could see there is not much of attachment. Why there is not much of attachment? I have already explained. So these 7 or 8 verses talks about that where these attachments, where that sense of mind escaping the pleasure can enter into my head, so I cannot succeed in the meditation. So it says that you have to start from the scratch. You have to create a mental and physical environment. That is verse number 10. Verse number 11 is that what is the spot for meditation? What is the focus? What exactly is the focus of meditation? That is verse number 11. And then the verse number 12, preparing the mind and the sense organs. Preparing the mind and the sense organs. What it means? The same example of a restaurant. Oh, I like pasta. My mind and the sense organ starts dreaming in the waking state about the pasta, then only I appreciate. Then only I recommend others. Otherwise, there is no question of recommendation. Or I can recommend with the full awareness inside. Then it is a play and a fun. Oh, so I have 2 options. Yes. If someone asks which one is the best, yeah, this is the best restaurant. But I'm fully aware So whether I say it is a good restaurant or not, it hardly matters. I have transcended my likes and dislikes, and still I can say it doesn't affect me. So that is the way that we have to prepare the mind and the sense organs during the practice of meditation. We have lot of the thoughts and feeling and emotions coming from the past in the storehouse. In other words, then we have to understand, we have to make the body steady. If we don't make the body steady, then there is always a problem in the beginning. At a later stage, it hardly matters. Why? Body is the servant of the mind. So, and the mind starts reacting with its past impression, pain, pleasure, duality, conflict. It manifests its reaction from the body. It can stretch your nerves, it gives you a kind of discomfort, it gives you unnecessary vision and colors. And then I got into it. One guy told me that I'm always damn scared when practice of meditation. So that is why I left practice of meditation. So that is pertaining to the body. So there are a lot of things. That is what the Krishna. Then the next verse, the fifth point, he is not saying that I have to fix my mind on a particular object. He goes much deeper. He says, do you fix your will, the power of will, and the power of determination? You don't need to fix on any object, but you have to harness that power of will and the determination. You see, it's a totally opposite of what people understand. Meditate. Oh, I have to focus on this. I have to. Yes, in the beginning we have to focus on the object. I also told you, image of the Shiva. Why? Because to harness the power of will and the determination. So after these five preparations, in the sixth one, now I check, is the body, breath, mind, intellect, ego, all is moving towards the goal. The goal is the real self. Goal is the real self. Why? A simple example. All wave is water. You cannot say a part of the wave only is water. What it means? The body, breath, mind, intellect, ego, thought, feeling, sensation, actions are all manifestations of the same supreme consciousness. We will go into detail. We are just going. Then the seventh verse is a great warning by the Krishna. Don't go for extreme. I will be fasting for about a week to be absorbed into meditation. It will not work. I will remain naked in the cold climate in Colorado. It will not work. It will not work at all. It will backfire. Mind will create more negative impressions, and sometime these extremes will push you backward many years, many years. So we have heard about austerity and penance. That austerity and penance must be guided by understanding and the knowledge and the previous steps. Say, for example, you are absorbed, you are entering into meditation, and suddenly you feel an extreme hunger. Better break the meditation, eat something, go back again. That is the guidance from the Krishna. So he says that there should be a moderation in food, sleep, in all my activities. when I treat the path of this self-discovery. It helps me in my personal life, it helps me in my professional life, it helps me in my social life. Also, it helps me in both the life. It helps me a whole life, outside, external life, and internal life. We normally, sometimes we forget because of the obsession of earning more. I don't eat the food, let me absorb myself. I'm enjoying that moment. Why I'm enjoying? Because my mind has already projected lot of money. Same thing with the eating. I overeat because mind is constantly projecting that you will continue to have pleasure. Same thing with the sex. Same thing, same thing. So Master says no, moderation. Moderation means that I rise in awareness. I look into it. I contemplate and reflect. I contemplate and reflect. That is going to help us. Extreme is not going to help in this journey. I told you the story of the Buddha, 6 years, extreme austerity. But now, another part we need to understand. So why the masters recommend also sometimes the extreme austerity? Your mind is not listening to, to any principle. So when the Buddha left the house and he went to this tantra master, and the master intuitively felt, oh, this guy is a prince. And he told me the story that until 16, 17 years of the age, he was living in all kinds of pleasure. I told you that his father created a Las Vegas in Sin City. So intuitively the master asked the Buddha, you have to sleep on the floor if you want to be my teacher. He wanted to check. So sometimes those things also work. So rarely it works, but with the clarity. And then he said, I will give you only one meal a day. So he asked Buddha how many times you were eating in your kingdom. Oh, at any time, whenever I feel hungry, only one meal a day I'll give you in my monastery. Are you ready? You have to sleep under the tree on the floor. Are you ready? And he all agreed to it. And he entered into the extreme austerity to experience the extreme pleasure and now the extreme austerity. That also sometimes works. But it has to be done under the strict guidance of a teacher so that we should not fall back into any kind of hallucinations. With that saying, I'm again reminding you that you are practicing Mangalacharan every day, you are listening and learning every day, you are contemplating and reflecting, and you are practicing. After the practice, wait for 10 minutes to see what experiences I have and how and where these experiences is taking me. And then you have to apply the wisdom, and that you have told me that you apply that wisdom. You wake up every day in the morning. First thing, do you remind yourself that I am the real self? I have yet to discover and realize it. Second day, you wake up and you remember that you have a lot of challenges. Third day, you wake up and you had a very fearful dreaming experience. Now see that every day in the morning, 3 days, you have a variety of experiences. In order to make this experience unique and uniform, I have to remind myself that my whole journey is to find the real self. Pick up any mantra. Sarve bhavantu sukhina or Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu. I have to. So, if I have a fearful experience, I'm helping the mind to start the journey. continue the journey of the self-discovery. If my mind is already calm, I can go deeper. I can go deeper. I can realize that today I have no issue like this. This is very important. It comes with the contemplation and reflection. I'm taking you in another direction to help these 7 verses to understand clearly how these 7 verses helps in the preparation of higher, or you can say the higher meditation. That is very important to do it. Now there are basically, we can say there are 3 options when we wake up. I become conscious. So when I become conscious, I am fully aware of the real self. A kind of calmness and the peace is there. So even if there are problems and the challenges outside, it doesn't affect me, likes and dislikes. I'm just, it is on the surface level. It is only at the transactional level. There is no issue as such. That is the first option. And that first option is the highest option. That is a higher state of the consciousness. Second option. Where is the second option? Second option is that I see the problem and I solve it and then I go back. That is the middle level of the journey. Whereas the third level, it constantly pricks me. Any challenges in my life constantly pricks me, and it takes a lot of time for me to take over. That is understood clearly. That has to be understood clearly. That is why I said so 3 options. That is why in the Gita chapter number 1, Krishna says you are not worthy of suffering. You are suffering, it is because of your own making. Then he directly switches to, here is the real self. The real self doesn't suffer. Then he goes down into the second option, do the karma yoga. Then he, in the 5th chapter, he says, forget about it. It's all knowledge. Karma is all about the knowledge. You understand it. So if your mind is already settled beyond the likes and dislikes, you are free. You see that? It is like a wave and curve going up and down in order to help our ignorant mind to understand. And then he starts the 6th chapter, that is our meditation. So we have to understand that clearly. These ups and downs will definitely enter our life. How come you can say I have been progressing? Yeah, but very deep impression which you have repeated for many years, or it has come from the previous birth, will attack you on one day. So there comes the challenge, whether you are able to maintain your calm in the poise in the mind, or you get disturbed. So that is why Krishna explained in the first 5 chapters this thing. I'm taking you to a different level by setting. So we already done the first 3 verses, eligibility of meditation, qualities of the eligibility, and we are into the third. Is preparation for the meditation. But before that, 9th verse is very important, because if I don't rise in awareness, one way, I don't rise in an occasion, because the world gives me every day a new challenges, new way of perception, new problems, new kind of a pleasure. So if I don't follow those 9 steps, if I don't cultivate a sense of what are those 9, we have taken the 9 well-wisher. I don't keep that being a well-wisher. That is a state of the mind. You see that? Then I'll come. Then well-wisher, then the friend. Friendship or friendly nature. Then I have an enemy. The person who is enemy nature, someone who actively opposes or wishes harm to me. So I have to see, maintain the composure and compassion. Why? Because I don't want to trigger any past impression. The neutral, udasin, madhyastha, the mediator, the hateful, how I have to deal, relative, how I have to deal with the relative, and ultimately the virtuous and the sinful, how I have to deal. The 9. So once I clearly understand how I have to deal with it, then these 6 or 7 verses becomes easy for me to deal with practical. so write down an acronym, LIBERATE, LIBERATE, which will help you to understand. Liberate, how I have to deal with these 9 different states of the mind, or 9 different challenges posed by the world outside. Sometimes people hate me, sometimes they wish me the best, sometimes they react, sometimes they, our near and dear ones, oh, this Eric is doing the same thing, he will not change. So it has a deep impact on my head. So I have to work on this, liberate. L means the live in the real self, or listen and learn about the real self, or remind. L means, I say, liberate. I have to instantly remind myself of the real self, or the real supreme consciousness, which is different than the body, breath, brain, mind, intellect, and ego. Whether one is a well-wisher, whether one is an enemy or hatred, I have to remember, with reference to the real self, there is no enemy, there is no. So you have to understand this. First, L means the liberate model I have to apply, or you can say the model. It provides the fundamental understanding of the non-duality. What is non-duality? That I and you both are same. How can I say I and you both are the same? There are 2 waves. From the standpoint of one wave, the other wave is liked or dislikes or hated. But with reference to the water, both the waves are water. Both the waves are water. So I have to live into that state. How? By thinking. Just think. He's hitting me, but we both are the same. So why it happens? It cultivates the wisdom necessary to see beyond the surface level differences. How it comes? By constant listening and learning. Again, L. Constant listening and learning and doing the practice. Well, if you follow the L and it is settled completely, there is no issue, but it doesn't happen easily. So then it comes to the I. The second acronym is I. Investigate the false self. Because I have clear understanding and knowledge of the real self, all is water. Why my mind is sticking to one wave, whom I say you are crazy, you are good, you are bad. So I investigate the false self in the mind. So I dismantle this false identity. That is meaning of the I. Internal. You just think. Oh, this guy is reacting to it, but we both are the same mentally. Okay. And you compare it with those nine attributes of the intellect. It will come. It comes. Dismantles the ego-based I, LIB. So once I recognize that this is the false I which is triggering me, I have to break free from the attachment. That is the B. I have to break free from the attachment. How? By the mind. Where the attachment lives? It is living in the mind. It is living in the mind or emotion, whatever you say. It is living in the thought. I told you, I plus I desire is the attachment. So that false I is already dismantled in the second step by investigating. And in the B, I break free of the attachment. How? Mentally. I have to do nothing. I force my mind. No, I have to do nothing with it. So what happens? It reduces your emotional reactivity. So you can pick up those 9 attributes of the intellect in the verse number 9, how it is going to help you, you will come to know. So LIB, E. Where is E? Now. So what is investigate the false I? You have investigated. You have dropped the attachment, and then E means you eliminate the delusion. The veil of the delusion was over you. That is why we had an opinion and understanding and reaction and anger and hesitation and pain and the pleasure. So E means that now, now I can easily recognize here is a delusion. That delusion took over my mind in relationship with my honey, in relationship with the employees, in relationship with the stranger, and all those people have a different set of perception. So I can easily deal with it. So LIB and then E. And then what happens? There the main thing comes. R means that do I experience now I'm relaxed and calm? In the beginning I saw this guy seems to be enemy, reacting, hatred. But now do I see the relaxed and calm in myself? I'm totally relaxed and calm. Now in that relaxed and calm, I can deal with that person easily, with clarity, with the right perception. So R, we have to reach R in every situation in our life that will help you to follow these 7 or 8 verses easily. Your body is reacting, it has a discomfort, you are already into the middle of the meditation, you have to make a right choice. What is the right choice? Oh, let me transcend this discomfort, one option. Other option, let me make my body comfortable and continue. Then again I start the meditation. So here you are starting the meditation again. But you transcend the discomfort caused by the delusion. You have removed the delusion by investigating and by breaking free of the attachment with the body. So LIBER, relax. Then we come to A. A means that now I acknowledge the real self easily. Now I acknowledge my peace and happiness easily. Normally, intellectually, we acknowledge that there is a real self. So here we are experientially acknowledging. Why? I'm relaxed, which is independent of any object. I'm happy and joyful without any dependence, without any outer dependence. So even if the person in front of me I just heard that he hates me, but my mind is relaxed and poised. It has nothing, it does not affect me. It is not dictating me. So that acknowledgement is there, A. And when you have that acknowledgement, T means that you transcend the limitation. Now the wave is not looking at the wave, the water is looking at the wave. The other guy believes that you are still the wave, but from your perception, you are looking from the point of view of the wave. So that is, you are transcending the limitations. And E, the last E is, and you embody the freedom. There is a recognition and realization of the real self. Liberate. Everything is happening in the intellect through contemplation and reflection. That is what Krishna explained in the verse 6.9, these 9 attributes. That is why he said you gain a steady wisdom. So where you gain a steady wisdom? You gain the steady wisdom in the intellect. What does the intellect do? Intellect gives me the knowledge. But how I get the knowledge? By the thinking. What is thinking here? Listening and learning the principles, contemplation and reflection. People don't pick up this understanding and then they start. That is why in the, which verse? In the 16th verse, Krishna warns, you are going to extreme. It will fail you. So you see that how the ignorance, he is removing the ignorance, that you live in the truth. What is that step? It establishes a philosophical basis in your mind instead of an instant reaction. We have an instant reaction because of the pleasure, because of the pain, because of the hate, because of one is a well-wisher. I instantly say, I highly appreciate you, thank you very much. And we have the opposite idea when someone criticizes me. So when you investigate your false I, basically investigation helps you to dissolve the false I. You can see the thin layer of the false I. Look at this guy is criticizing me. He doesn't understand. I have helped him a lot. No, false I. A very thin layer of the false I. So that is what the I is. It helps you to dissolve that ego. Directly tackles the root cause. How? By thinking. By thinking. And then you get an emotional balance, because now it is not an emotional dependence, because you break free from the attachment. Oh, where the attachment says, you always appreciate me, you always recognize me. That is also an attachment. You have no right for criticizing me, reacting against me, getting angry over me. That is an attachment. You see those symptoms. So emotional poise comes, and that first 3 step helps you to eliminate that delusion. It helps you to never forget the liberate in daily life, just to recognize, go through all the process, understand. When you're talking to your honey, or we are talking to any person outside, you're talking to your lawyer, talking to anyone, you follow that liberate model, and you will see. By regular practice, you will come to know, I have removed the delusion, yes. I have removed the emotional dependence, yes. Then this individual, my mind is treating the individual like a wall. I'm neutral to the wall, neutral to the monitor. I'm neutral to my kid. So it goes a very deeper level. So that break free from the attachment. And 4th one is I eliminate the delusion, liberate. And then what happens? Now see, understand in a different way. So I said R means relax and poise. Did you create this relax and calm and the peace? No. Because you removed the delusion, you removed the attachment, you removed the false I. So that calmness and the joy manifested in you. Understand, that gives a very strong conviction that I was not looking for any appreciation, any acknowledgement, any praise, and I have dropped all the thoughts, feeling, and impressions, and I am so happy. How come? Do you see? It gives you such a strong conviction. Liberate or relax and calm. Can I remain relaxed and calm being alone? And women called me from India. She said that I want to go to a monastery. You already know. Can you recommend me? I said, what is your goal? Do you want to live alone in a monastery? I can help you get a room. You will get 3 meals a day. I will ask the head of that monastery. No, no, no. I don't want that kind of a loneliness. That is why I'm going to a monastery. Very good. So do you want to go to a monastery where people gather together in the morning and they do the gossip and they do our postures and the breathing? Oh, but not that much. I said, what exactly you want? What do you want? I can help you get 3 meals a day. I can get you a room. And I understood her mind. I understood her mind. I said, here are these 2 numbers. You call, give my name, and they will definitely help you. They will not charge any money. But will it be a befitting after, because you want to spend 2 weeks, 3 meals a day, your room, other facilities. So at least you should give some donation. I'm not saying that how much, but you simply give the donation. And she was dead confused. So this is what happens. That is how, no, I just want to get away too far from my house, from the capital Delhi. I did not ask anything that whether you make your house a monastery. How? You wake up in the morning. Say, for example, you wake up in the morning at 4. From 4 to 6, mind, never think about this house and honey and the kids and the money and the business. This is the room I will spend 2 hours or 3 hours. You are already in the monastery. you're out of touch of the world outside. I didn't talk to her. I said, it's okay. So realize your inner calm. You recognize. The more and more you acknowledge that calmness, you find out from where this calmness is coming. And then you will recognize it is coming because you investigated, because you break free of that emotional dependence, because you eliminated the delusion. The curtain is gone. It's a curtain raiser, and you recognize that calmness. And then A means that now you have a glimpse of it. Yeah, from where this calmness? That glimpse, I said A. You acknowledge that it's coming from within me. I'm responsible for it. I'm of the nature of peace and happiness. Oh, really? Yes, I'm of the nature of peace and happiness. Can you see this is happening in meditation, in every meditation that you are doing it? And then you have an expanded consciousness. What does that mean? You have transcended the limitation. What is that limitation? Limitation by delusion, limitation by emotional poise, limitation by the emotional dependence. You have transcended the limitation. So when you have transcended the limitation that I am not the body and the mind, where the delusion comes, I am the body and mind. First I am the body and mind, then I am attached, then I have to react, then I have to settle the score, I enter into a delusion. That needs to be understood at the intellectual level. It has nothing to do with the practice. So I have to understand, I have applied the knowledge and my mind is clear. Now I am sitting in meditation. We will continue to sit in meditation, not only for hours together, even if you don't sit. So that way I transcend the limitation. And then first time I experience, I embody the freedom. The last word, E. Okay. Okay. So you can cultivate these 9 traits of an advanced seeker. Now you see that, many years ago, it took me a couple of days because my mind was focused, and I have taught you this verse, maybe I would say 50 times, but now it appeals to you because we have to understand at a subtler level. I have told you, Satsangatve Nisasangatvam, company of the real self or the truth, or company of the teacher, listening and learning, results into detachment. Nisasangatve Nirmohatvam, from the detachment you get free from the delusion. From the freedom from the delusion, your mind becomes calm and steady. From the calm and steady mind or intellect, it results into awakening. That is, the master gave the verse, and I translated into these the liberate model. So when you more and more contemplate and reflect, it reveals, oh, this is what, oh, yeah, you're right. Am I strictly adhering to this verse? Yes. If you look closely, it says only 5 steps: company, detachment, freedom from the delusion, calmness of the mind, and awakening. Yeah, only 5. But I made it a liberate model to facilitate easy understanding. So we become an advanced seeker if we can embrace all the 9 traits that is explained in the verse number 9. People normally overlook it. And helps cultivate equal vision towards the well-wisher and also towards the enemy. I'm living in the truth. I'm the real self. You are a well-wisher or you're an enemy. But I'm the real self. Real self has no enemy, no friend. I should have a thought contains the knowledge, and ultimately the knowledge leads to awareness. I'm making it very simple. Don't go by those people or those philosophical explanations. It's very pragmatic, very practical. You're talking like an enemy, but you are a close friend of mine. You will continue to remain my friend. I'm saying it mentally, and then I'm listening. Yes, go ahead. I'm ready to listen to you. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Many people do it. We are focused only first on the 9th verse in order to move ahead with these 6 or 7 verses. Look at the investigate the false self. So, investigation of the false self, you are able to maintain the equanimity with a friend trait and with a person who hates you, who dislikes you. So how the investigation happens? This is the investigation of the self-inquiry. What I have to do? You are a good friend of mine. Yes, I appreciate it. I acknowledge it. I will continue to transact in the world. You have such a disliking for it. No, no, I'll keep a distance so that my mind remains calm. My mind remains calm. I'm putting myself onto the shoes. I'm not saying that, oh, that guy always criticizes me, so I keep on thinking that is why I'm keeping a distance. Investigation. It demands a clear, subtle investigation. Break free from the attachment. Relative. Sometimes they are very heavy because of the attachment. So we have to make it very simple. Oh yes, I love you. Love me? Yes, I love you. How much? How much you want me to love you? Yes, I love you. But at the same time, it's not a play. But at the same time, I remind that real self is the nature of it. Unconditional love. So when I say that I love you, I mean unconditional love. Why? Because you are my relative. Why? Even if you do something wrong, I still continue to love you. Why? I don't invite any likes and dislikes because you are related to me. What I'm doing, I'm taking care of my journey of self-discovery. That is the break free from the attachment. Then E, I'm just explaining in a different way. Eliminate the delusion. So you eliminate the delusion towards a person whom you can say virtuous, highly like a monk-like, and the other person is sinful. I have to do nothing with this sinful, I have to do nothing with this that. I see the same water, and the same water converts into a storm and a beautiful wave that I want to witness on a vacation. And in the vacation, if there is a storm, so can I become? So I have to get rid of that delusion. Delusion simply means I have explained you what appears true is not true. So you are angry. What appears real is not real. You are angry because you want to meet your expectations from me. So let me understand it. And if I can, I will meet your expectations. Finished. I'm not going after your anger. I'm not going after your reaction. Why I'm doing it? Because I have to cultivate those 9 traits. I have to cultivate those 9 traits so that I can absorb into a deeper state of meditation. Understand, be very clear. You have to put logic again and again. Remember. And then comes the R. Realize the inner calm and the peace and the joy. So what is this? That joy in all 9 types of relationship. Why? It is independent of any object, any person outside. The joy is there in spite of any one of the 9 types I am interacting in the world, or I am thinking about them after the incident took place. In both ways. Then I do rehearse. New Jersey. I forgot that phrase, but I normally write in the email at the professional level. I'll tell you once I remember. And then we come to awaken to the true nature. I realize that calmness, so I acknowledge that calmness consciously is coming, and the peace and the joy is coming from outside. I have a great realization in spite of adverse situation, adversity, adverse people, I'm still able to enjoy that joy within, calmness within, peace within. And if I apply the same during the practice of meditation, what is happening? So the moment I acknowledge, I have already transcended the limitation. What is that limitation which I have already investigated as a false self? I have broken free the delusion, and I have broken through that emotional dependence. And because of those dissolution, I recognize that it's very easy for me to transcend the limitation, and I can embody the freedom. I can embody the freedom. This is, in my understanding, Krishna lays a very strong foundation before he says you have to follow these 7 verses. I made these 7 verses almost you are fully acclimatized with these 6 or 7 verses, but we will understand it clearly that what he meant it, and then it becomes very easy for you to grasp it, but also to apply it. So now one thing you can see that Liberate model helps me to have a progressive realization, a gradual process of realization. I investigated, the thin curtain of the false I is gone, emotional dependence is gone, delusion is gone, and I can recognize that calmness. That calmness is present equally in all the 9 traits. So it means I'm unaffected. That I acknowledge that it is coming from within. And that acknowledgement helps me to transcend the limitation, and I can embody my true nature. True. At least one thing is clear. I'm dealing with a person, situation, or event. And once I recognize that it's a play and a fun for me, what it is self-understanding. It is emotional maturity. Now you can give a different words, the foundational wisdom for meditation. I'm living in the real self. I started with the intellect, but I reached to the calmness that is experiential. I start with the intellectual query, and once the R comes, I could experience that. That experience results me into a state of emotional maturity. And emotional maturity leads me to a clear, right perception, because I am acknowledging something is coming from within. So it's a clear perception. This guy cannot take me to reaction or anger, hesitation. I'm happy. What it results in? Inner stability. What is that inner stability? There is a continuity of awareness towards the real self, which I have yet to realize. There is a continuity of awareness or self-awareness, or rise in whatever the word you can say. So that is what the last, I can embody the true nature. I can embody the true nature. There is an enhanced consciousness in my life. So if you look at the well-wisher, now you can easily create a framework in your mind. First of the 9 traits is well-wisher, a person who wishes well for others without expecting anything in return. So cultivating goodwill without attachment. See that? Because investigate yourself and LIB. Will you break free of that delusion? And one who is a friend, someone who offers support and companionship. Very good. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I have to do it without attachment. Why? Because I have to discover myself. But it helps you in the professional life also. Enemy, a person perceived as a hostile or threatening. My master used to say, don't make any enemy. Be friend to everyone. Why you make enemy? Because of the delusion, because of the false life. So simple. Neutral. So it is in English, it is known as neutral, but the word is udasin. So the Sanskrit word udasin means that I rise in consciousness. You are my enemy. So I rise in that consciousness. Now you no longer remain my enemy. I see from the higher point of view. Oh, you are deeply attached to me. I still rise in enemy. I still rise in consciousness. That is exactly the meaning of udasin. So in English, it does not convey the right meaning. Right meaning, English translation is something like neutral. The neutral means that I'm neutral to the wall. No, I'm fully lively to the person because I see you from the higher consciousness. I see you that you are reacting, you are angry, you are hesitated, or you are deeply attached. Deeply attached. Then we have the fifth one is the mediator. Some people like to intervene to resolve the conflict between others. Let them be. Let them be. The mediator, yes, mediator. So if the mediator is, so I maintain that emotional maturity that the mediator, I'm not siding with the mediator because he says or she says uh, good things about me. The sixth one is the hateful person. A hateful person, treating even those. So again, just you look at it. Libe, and R. The moment you reach to the R, you have treated the hateful person, your relative, the seventh one, the centaur, the monk, and the sinner alike. So if you look closely, the last point, if you look closely, the verse number 7, mental in the physical environment, or mental or the physical state, you are tackling this with this liberate model. I'm totally, feeling my body is totally tired, so I will practice meditation later. No, I will practice here. Apply the liberate model. It is because of the delusion. It is happening. So what happens? That is why all the masters are able to keep their routine without break. They are not strict. They are not going to the extreme, but they are able to maintain their routine. No way. My master used to say that you cannot stop going to the restroom if you have an urge. You are hungry, you cannot stop eating. Is the eating and going to the restroom is a greater activity than your meditation? Answer is no. So follow it. Apply this consciously. And then the focus on meditation. So we'll understand that how we can focus on that meditation means that now the external factors are gone and the mind is free. So wherever we want it to focus, it will focus. But then there is a problem comes because senses are obsessed, mind is obsessed with so many objects of the world. We have already created a storehouse of impression. A guy who likes vodka and the guy in front of him drinking vodka, he'll have saliva. But the guy who doesn't drink, he will not have it. Outer situation is the same, but my response is different. So I have to understand that how my mind and senses are responding to a variety of situations at a very subtle level. What will happen? The verse number 13 says that will help you to make the body steady as long as you want. And then you have to tackle your will or determination. So you're not fixing your mind on particular object. You are fixing on the will and determination. In the 15th verse, all systems go, body, breath, mind, intellect, ego is going towards the goal. It is looking towards the goal of self-discovery. And in the 16th verse, the master warns us, don't go for the extreme, otherwise it will create lot of challenges for you. Lot of challenges for you. Don't do this. So what you do? So at the external level, You have to play with the moderation. Why moderation? Can I not get rid of it? No, you cannot get rid of it.